London, along with the rest of the country, went into lockdown, and despite the harsher restrictions we're all living under, infection rates have continued to rise in the capital. Well, Martin Stew reports from Slough, a COVID hotspot, which has the highest infection rate among younger people.
Lou's workload picking up essentials for older people in Slough has nearly doubled. First stop is the 78-year-old Cynthia Soutter.
And were these your pecan?
Oh, they're mine, yeah.
They're the ones?
They're the ones, yes.
Along with a sticky pastry, seeing a friendly face is the highlight of her week. Cynthia's been shielding inside for months. Meanwhile, the infection rate in the community is shooting up, especially amongst the young.
I lost my husband in March because of it. And I think to myself, it's a rotten shame that if they was to get it, they'd realise how serious it is. If we can abide by the rules and sit indoors for months and be happy, they should try and do the same.
Here's why it matters. You normally have to quarantine if you visit a country with 20 cases per 100,000 people. In Slough, the rate is now 353. Amongst the over 60s, it's 270. But for 17 to 21-year-olds, it's much higher at 447.
And this, of course, is the age group that feel quite invincible. They're not as impacted as much as maybe their parents or their grandparents.
I mean, there's only so much responsibility that young people can bear.
These teenagers work with Slough's youth parliament.
We need to have that sort of output where we can just, ease back and relax. But, I do understand that, we have to take care for not just ourselves, but for our loved ones.
The fact that I can sit in a common room with hundreds of students, there is this feeling that we're invincible.
I just spoke to a woman called Cynthia who lost her husband earlier this year, has barely been out of the house, and she says she gets so frustrated when she sees young people out and about. Yeah. What would you say to her?
A lot of my friends have said that the reason that they've been, bending lockdown rules is because they don't want to experience the poor symptoms of mental health that they experienced during lockdown 1, I guess.
The average age of COVID patients at the nearby hospital has dropped from above 65 to 57. GP Dr. Nada believes the combination of a young, majority BAME population with multi-generational housing is a big factor, and is worried recent Diwali celebrations will see numbers rise further.
We've seen that kind of pandemic fatigue affecting people, and we've seen the household mixing going on.
So should we be learning lessons from that when we consider how we should ease things potentially for Christmas?
We should take it as a warning shot before the Christmas season starts, yeah.
Martin Stew, ITV News.